Hi, everybody. Today we are going to start a new part of statistics. We're going to be using some ideas from the other day to do something called mean absolute deviation. So our goal today is to do our DMR. You can check it with a partner if that's okay with your sub. Then we're going to go through the notes, right? So as we go through these, you're following along with me. This first page is mostly what I have on my screen, so you're just following along in here because you've seen it before. Then I'm going to get down to this box where we will start doing our notes together. So remember, you're following along, filling it in on your notes, and then you'll have a couple to do by yourself when we get finished with the videos. Make sure you're following along, doing it on your paper. Then you're going to show your sub when you're finished so they can check off that you've completed your assignment. So remember, we've been talking about statistics. Statistics is the process of using data to understand the world. We talked about that last week. It involves collecting, organizing, and interpreting information to make predictions and draw conclusions about populations or groups. So again, we're looking at data, trying to understand important aspects of it so that we can make decisions. We talked about some other important words that go along with statistics last week. We talked about these words here. We talked about population first, which is a group of people, the entire group that we're interested in. Then a researcher chooses a sample or the group that they're actually going to study or talk to. If it's a good sample, then we call it unbiased. Unbiased meaning that everyone has an equal chance of being selected. If it's not a great sample, we might call it biased. That would be like if a person is favoring someone, which is really unfair. So a biased sample is a group of people where everyone is not having an equal chance. This is unfair. We don't want unfair samples. If we've done everything right, then we could call our conclusion valid. Valid meaning every sample is fairly and accurately representing the larger population. Has to be fair. And again, conclusion, the conclusion of a study, which is like the result of the study, like we talked about in science and math, the result of the study after analyzing the information. After we talked about population sample spaces, we moved on to some of these important words that come along with statistics, things that you probably remember from 6th grade. So we talked about the mean, like the average. The average is when you add together and divide by how many there are. We did that on Thursday. Then we had the median, like the middle number. So we'd have to place the numbers in order and find the number in the middle. We talked about the mode, like the number that happens the most. And the range, which is difference. Remember, difference is like subtraction. And that's the subtraction between the lowest and the highest numbers. Those were all pretty easy last week. At this point, we're going to go on to our next box. So the next box you have says mean absolute deviation. We just did that box on notes where it said, how can we analyze data? Now we're looking at the box that says mean absolute deviation. So what is that? Mean absolute deviation is the average distance, so you should be underlining with me, between each piece of data and the mean. Well, mean was the average overall, right? So it's kind of like taking the mean and going a step deeper, looking at how far those numbers are from the mean on average. There's going to be 3 steps here for us to do that. The first one is just finding the mean. We all know how to do that already. Step 2, we're going to find the difference between each of those numbers in our list and the mean that we found already. Step 3, we're going to find the mean of those distances, so those new numbers. So again, what are we doing? Starting with the mean like we normally do, the average. Then we're going to do some subtraction. We're going to find the difference from each point to the mean, and then the mean of those distances, so average of the new numbers. So let's take a look at step 1. So step 1 is just finding the mean. So we're going to add these numbers together. And then there are 6 of them, so whatever I get, I'm going to divide by 6. So if I add these numbers together, which you can pause and add them together real quick, that would equal 24. And since there's 6 of them, I'm going to divide by 6. So the mean was originally 4. So for step 1, the mean is 4. That was pretty easy. Step 2, remember this is all about distance, trying to figure out the distance from our original numbers to the mean. So I'm just going to make a list of what numbers I had already And I'm going to be taking away 4. And I can always go in normal subtraction order, bigger number minus smaller number. So I'm just going to start with that first one, 0. 4 minus 0. Well, that's still 4. Then I go to the next one, number 1. Okay, 4 minus 1 is 3. Then the next one, 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. Then the next one, 7. Okay, well, 7 is the bigger number, so I'm just going to put that in the front to make it easier. 7 minus 4 is 3. And then, I have 2 more sets of 7. Okay, 7 minus 4 is 3. 7 minus 4 is 3. So now I have a list. I have a list of all these distances from our numbers in our list to the mean that we found before. Pause, make sure you have that. Now that we have our new numbers, we're going to be using these numbers for step 3. So again, what was step 3 over here? Find the mean or the average of those distances. Just like we did in the first step, we added all the numbers together and divided by how many there are. So I'm going to quickly add up 4, 3, 2, 3, 3, and 3. Okay, so adding all of those together, I get 18. And there were 6 numbers. So if I divide by 6, I get 3. So what's the mean absolute deviation, or the average distance of those numbers to the mean? It was 3. So my answer was 3. So again, what did I do? I started with the mean like we normally do. Then I subtracted to see how far away these numbers were from that number. And lastly, I found the average or the mean of those numbers. So I'm kind of repeating some steps. And I got 3 as my final answer. We're going to do a couple of these together, and then you're going to have one to do on your own when the video is over. So let's try this one now. Number 1, find the mean absolute deviation. Okay, so this is the same thing we did before. We have this new set of data. And step 1, we're going to find the mean of the data. So I'm going to add these numbers together. 3 plus 1 plus 5 plus 4 plus 8 plus 6. When I add those together, I should get 27. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 plus 4 is 13. 13 plus 8 is 21. 21 plus 6 is 27. So yep, I add to get 27. And since it's the mean, I have to divide by how many numbers there are. Well, there are 6 numbers up here. So 27 divided by 6. And I got 4.5. So for step 1, my mean was 4.5. That's the mean. Take a minute to get caught up. Pause it if you need to. Now I'm going on to step 2. Remember step 2, find the difference between each number and the mean. Okay, so I'm just going to go down my list. First number I see is 3. So I'm doing the mean, because that's the bigger number, minus the smaller number. So I'm starting with 4.5 minus 3. I get 1.5. Then 4.5 minus the next number. That was the number 1. That gives me 3.5. The next number is the 5. Okay, that's the bigger number, so I'm going to start there. 5 minus 4.5 is 0.5. Next number is a 4. Okay, bigger number in the front. 4.5 minus 4 is 0.5. Then I have an 8. Okay, 8 minus 4.5, because that was the bigger number. That gives me 3.5. There, oh, that's ugly. I've got to fix that. There we go, 3.5. And then the last one was a 6. Okay, so 6 minus 4.5 is 1.5. So now I have all those distances. I can go on to step 3. What was step 3? Find the mean or the average of those distances. So I'm going to add all these numbers up. Add all these numbers up and see what I get. When I added them all together, I got 11. And then think about, what do we do next? If we're doing the average, we have to divide by how many numbers there are. So 11 divided by 6. Well, that's going to be a long repeating decimal, but I think I could use a repeating line. I could do 1.83 repeating. Pause and make sure you have everything. Now we're going to fill in our answer, right? The mean absolute deviation, the mean, the average. The average distance of those numbers is 1.83 repeating. So there's my final answer. Now we're going to try a couple more. Number 2. This is a shorter list. There's only 4 numbers, so that's easy. Step 1, find the mean. Okay, so I'm adding them together. 23 plus 15 plus 15 plus 7. When I add all those together, I get 60. And since it's the mean, I have to divide by how many there are. There's 4 of them. 60 divided by 4 is 15. Okay, so there's my mean. My average is 15. Now I'm going to use that number in the next step. Pause and think about, okay, what am I going to do? Now we're going to make our list, just going down the line, subtracting the bigger number minus the smaller number, using these numbers and our mean. So first one's 23. 23 minus 15 is 8. Then I have 15 minus 15. That's easy. That's 0. And another one of those, 15 minus 15 is 0. The last one's the number 7. So I'm going to start with the 15 because that's a bigger number. 15 minus 7 is 8. Okay, so now I have all my distances. That was step 2. Now step 3, right? Find the mean of those distances or the average. So I'm going to add them all up and see how much I get. I've got 8 plus 0 plus 0 plus 8. Well, 8 plus 8 is 16. And I don't need the zeros because they're not worth anything. There's 4 numbers here. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. So the mean absolute deviation, the distance, the average distance from the number to the mean is 4. That one was pretty quick. Okay, a couple more together. This one's set up a little bit differently. This time I gave you a chart. So we have to look and see what numbers are represented on that chart. It looks like this chart is showing me ice cream flavors that people picked. It looks like one person picked the 4th flavor. Okay, so I've got 4 because that was a number picked. Then for the 5th one, 2 people picked that. Okay, so I need 2 5s. And then it looked like another person picked the 6th one. So I have 4, 5, 5, and 6 in my list. All I did was look over here and see which numbers were represented. 4, 2 sets of 5, and a 6. Now I can start my steps. So step 1, finding the mean. 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 6. Pause and find the mean real quick. If I add these together, I get 20. And 20 divided by 4, because there's 4 numbers, is 5. So the mean is 5. Now we can go to step 2, finding the difference from the data point. So I'm just subtracting these numbers from the beginning with the number 5, starting with the bigger number. So the first number up here on my list was a 4. So 5 minus 4 is a difference of 1. Excuse me. Then the next one is the number 5. Okay, 5 minus 5 is 0. Then I have another 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. And then the last one is the number 6 from the list. So 6 minus 5 is 1. Okay, so what did I end up with? I have a 1, 0, 0, and a 1. So for step 3, just like we did on step 1, we're going to add them together. 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1. Pause and write it down. You should have said 2 when you added it up. And since there are 4 numbers, we're going to divide by 4 to find the average. 2 divided by 4, you can use your calculator if you need to, is 0.5. So what is our mean absolute deviation? It's 0.5. Hopefully that's getting a little bit easier now. And let's go to our last page. So on this page, we're going to do one more problem together, and then the last 2 boxes on your paper are going to be for you to do by yourself. You're going to try it out, and then you can check with your sub so they can mark off that you're finished. Okay, so number 4, we've got this list of numbers that we're working with this time. Finding the mean first, just like we normally do. Take a second, pause, and find the mean, please. So to find the mean, we're going to start by adding them together. 78 plus 45 plus 60 plus 33 plus 84. Adding them all together, I got 300. And since there are 5 numbers, I'm going to divide by 5. Okay, so my mean is 60. My mean is 60. So that's what I'm working with. Step number 2, I got to figure out how far are each of these numbers away from 60. All right, well, 78 minus 60 is 18. Then 45, okay, so 60 minus 45. Remember, I'm putting the bigger number first. 60 minus 45 is 15. Then the next number is 60. Oh, that's easy. 60 minus 60 is 0. Next number is 33. Okay, bigger number first. 60 minus 33 is 27. And then the last one was 84. Okay, so 84 minus 60 is 24. All right, so I have my list. That was step 2. Step 3, find the mean of those new numbers. Pause and find the mean of those new numbers real quick. So now to find the average, I'm adding up 18 plus 15 plus 0 plus 27 plus 24. When I add them up, I get 84. And then there are 5 numbers, so I'm going to divide by 5. And I got 16.8. So on average, each of these numbers was 16.8 steps from the average, from the mean. So what was my answer? 16.8 was the mean absolute deviation. All right, so your job now, on your paper, you have 2 boxes left, and I think there are more down here on your printout, and that's okay. You have 2 boxes left, number 5 and number 6. Number 5 is exactly what we just did, right? Exactly what we just did. You're going to do the exact same steps. You can look at the old examples. And then number 6 is the basics of what we did last week. You're finding the mean, mode, the median, mode, and range. You didn't even have to do the mean because we've been doing it already today. When you are finished, you are going to show your sub so that they can check off your work, and make sure that you've also completed your DMR, because we'll turn it in like we normally do on Thursday. If you have any questions, make sure you sign up for WIN so that we can review these ideas this week. See you later, guys.